Good morning. This is Mark. It is July 14th. This is actually my stepfather Reed's birthday, so happy birthday. It's also Bastille Day, so hello to my friends in France. I have friends in France, but none of them are watching this. But it's a beautiful morning. I was going out for a walk, and I wanted to sort of capture some of this, just walking down along the water. And I was thinking about, well, before I do that, let me show you this. So as you can see, this is pretty amazing. Again, there's Maui over there, Lanai right there, little clouds over it. And here's the little beach I'm walking along. There's a road right there. And this is about a mile down from my house, down the road. But I just went out for a walk. Today's not a gym day, so it's a walking day. So I'm just walking. And it got me thinking a little bit about morning routines and about going out and doing things in the morning and getting into a routine and the importance of habits. And so I wanted to touch a little bit briefly on that. Also, I realized my videos are a little long. I think 19, 20 minutes is too much. So I'm going to keep this down to like 5 minutes or so, if I can. I'm a little verbose, but I'm going to keep this view right here because this is much nicer to look at than I am. So, talking about habits and morning rituals and morning routines. So I'm sharing my morning routine. Now, I'll be the first to admit my morning routine is not consistent. And that, I think, is one of the keys to having a good morning routine, is that it needs to be consistent. And mine is not. But in an ideal world, what I try to have my morning routine be is I like waking up early, but I don't like waking up early. I like the idea of waking up early. I like getting up and being awake when the world is still kind of sleeping, or getting up and watching the sunrise and it's still a little dark out and it's cool because it's hot these days. And I like that idea and the feeling of it, but waking up early is just such a pain in the butt. So I like sleeping in too. So if I had my choice, I would sleep in. Sleeping in would be waking up early. Does that make sense? So my sleeping in would get me up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, instead of sleeping in getting me up at like 10 in the morning. So in an ideal world, I get up around 5 or 6 and I'm fully rested, and because I went to bed at like 8 o'clock or something. And I had like 10 hours of sleep. And then I get up, and then first thing I do is go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and feed the cat, and then have a glass of water. And I like to hydrate myself quickly, although I didn't do it this morning, which I'm feeling it now. And then I go out. Oh, you see that crab? There's a crab over there. And then I go out and there's a few things I do. So there's a stretching routine that I do in the morning. It involves some qigong, a little tai chi, a few basics, just like simple stances, and some stretching, yoga stretching. I'm not a yoga person, but I know a couple yoga stretches, and so I kind of modified them into a little routine that I do, and it kind of helps wake everything up. So I have a little yoga mat. I go out on the lanai, and I do that as the sun is coming up, and that feels really good. And then usually after that, I'll come inside, get a cup of coffee, and drink that while I'm sort of checking email or figuring out my schedule for the day. And then I will often go to the gym. Gym is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at the current moment. Part of my program, my weightlifting program, is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll try and go for a walk, or I'll just sit outside, or do some tai chi, or maybe I'll be lazy and I'll go back to bed or something like that. But for the most part, I try and do something active at that time. Don't always do it, but I try to. And that's usually about half hour to an hour worth of exercise or training. I do some stretching and stuff. And then after the exercise, come home, take a quick shower. And then I try not to eat a big breakfast. I know a lot of people talk about the importance of big breakfast, but I've been playing around with some intermittent fasting and some other things. And so I usually save my larger meal for afternoon. In the morning, I might have something like a hard-boiled egg, or something like that. just to get myself kind of going, maybe some beans or something, just to sort of put some fuel in the tank. But I don't worry too much about it. If I'm hungry, I'll eat. If I'm not hungry, then I don't eat. So I keep it simple. Just listen to my body and to what it wants to do. And then after that, I will go and get the guitar and try and do some practice. And again, not consistently, but I'll try and practice about half an hour or so, do my scales, practice some of the songs I know. There's a Udemy course, or Udemy, depending on how you pronounce it, udemy.com. There's a jazz fretboard course I've been going through and learning a little bit about the fretboard and picking up some scales, arpeggios, and then just practice that for about half an hour, kind of get some creative juices flowing. And then by that time, it's usually either 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and that's about the time where I'm like, okay, time to get some work done. So then I'll start doing some work. Now, I mentioned Darren Hardy before. He has a morning recommendation, which I agree with, but I don't really implement. Well, I sort of implement, which is to get up early and do like a jam session of 90 minutes of the most important thing you have to do that day. So whatever it is, just get it out of the way quick. And Brian Tracy, he's also a self-development guy. He talks about this in Eat That Frog, which is the idea that you need to do the thing that if you ate a frog the first thing in the morning, and that was on your list, then everything after that would be completely easy, right? So you do the most difficult, challenging, hard thing first, get that out of the way, so the rest of the day, even if you did nothing else the rest of the day, it would still be a success because you got that one thing done. And so I like that idea, and I've implemented that before, but recently I do the exercise in the morning. I guess that's my frog. I guess going to the gym or going for a walk, it's my frog right now. But work-wise, it's not my frog. Work-wise, I could get up at like 5 and just start working right away. But I find that when I sit down right away after waking up for an extended period of time, like 90 minutes, that my body feels a little tight and my feet start to swell and joints ache. And I'm 46. I'm no little kid anymore. I can't sit down for like 8 hours a day like I used to be able to do. The good old days of StarCraft. And it's usually after a couple hours of being up and moving around that I sit down to start working. So I'll usually try and jam out like the most important thing I have to do that day. I'm not always consistent with this, but it's what I try to do. And work on that project, whatever it is. And then my day started. So that's kind of my morning routine. And then usually that's about 8 or 9. And then usually around 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, I'll have my first main meal of the day. And then I'll have another one, like a snack, maybe around 3, 4 o'clock. And then on Mondays and Fridays, I teach Tai Chi at the park. And one of these days I'll video that, so you can check that out. But I teach Tai Chi at the park for about 90 minutes, from 4:30 to 6. And then I go home, have dinner. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I usually work later. Thursdays, today, I have a book aid. It's a Baha'i Ruhi study circle that I'm facilitating. So I'm helping out with that. And we meet at the park as well. So it's basically, I think 5 to 6:30, we'll meet at the park. And that's it. And then I go home, have some dinner. Lately, I've been making dinner. Sometimes Ruhi makes dinner. We kind of have times when one of us will cook more than the other one. And vice versa, do more dishes than the other one. So it kind of depends on the schedule and kind of what we're doing and just the way it works out and who's more tired or lazy. So we'll do that and then go to bed. Try and go to bed around 9, 10 o'clock. I said morning routine. This is like my daily routine. Not that you need to know my whole daily schedule, but I actually find it fascinating. There's a book and it went through like a bunch of like highly achieving, successful people's morning routine. So I went through all these morning routines and it identified the elements of the morning routines that were the most common, like Richard Branson, Jack Welch, all these people who are pretty successful. And one of the things they all do is they all exercise in the morning. They all move around, do something, even for a walk, whatever. And the second thing they all do is they do some really important thing, really first thing in the morning. They get that thing out of the way so they can focus their day on other things that come up. And I think the third thing is they all have some sort of like introspection, or they journal, or they'll meditate, or they'll pray, or they'll do something in the morning sort of like to get their spiritual or emotional juices flowing and kind of, get that thing happening during the day. So, which I think is pretty cool too. I try to do that as well whenever I can. And here we are, the almost 10-minute mark. Good Lord, I really am chatty. Okay, so that's it for today. You're not looking at me, which is probably for the best because you get to see this amazing view. Again, let's do a quick pan around, and then I'll look at you again. And here we are. You can see the sun rising over that hill behind me. And that's it for today. So thanks for listening. It's interesting, the listening on the videos. I can see like the first one is like the what is this about kind of thing. What is this anyway? I got like 50 something views on that. People are like, hey, what is this anyway? What is he doing? And then a couple, like there's a wushu related one, gets a little more listens. And then I'm sure like yesterday's got like 7. It's like people are realizing, oh, he's just like talking and stuff, and it's not that interesting. Except the time lapse. Apparently time lapse is a popular search topic in cleaning and haircuts. So that got some decent views. But like I said, this isn't really to get tons of views. It's just really to help share my thoughts and ideas and blah, 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 blah. So that's enough for today. I hope you all have an awesome day, fantastic Thursday. It's almost the end of the week. And take care of yourselves. See you on the flip side. No, that's not my saying. Take care of yourselves. I guess I say that now. So everyone, take care of yourselves and keep on keeping on.